Hey guys, it's Leanne. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is all about how to create a flawless under eye. So this is part of my Makeup Masterclass Monday series, which each week on a Monday, obviously, I just go through one makeup problem that one of my followers or subscribers has said to me that they struggle to find, which is just basically each week I go through one makeup problem, normally quite a common problem that one of my followers or subscribers has said that they don't actually know how to overcome. So this week it's how to stop concealer from creasing. Last week it was how to match foundation to your skin tone without knowing your undertone, and I think the week before it was how to fake big lips with lip liner and makeup, basically. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, obviously stick around, keep on watching to the end, like the video, leave me some feedback, and let me know if you find tutorials like this useful. And also let me know if you have any makeup problems that you are not sure how to overcome, because obviously I film this every week, so I'm kind of running out of ideas now to what to talk about in each makeup masterclass Monday. So yeah, do that and I'd be so grateful. So as you can see, the under eye, I'm just going to give you a little closer look. It's looking pretty flawless, and I'm about to go out now and I feel quite confident that the concealer, obviously just under the eye where I've put the concealer, is going to last all day and it won't and it won't crease or cake. So if you want to know my tips my best tips, so yeah, if you'd like to know my tips, secrets and tricks on how to stop concealer from creasing and how to achieve a flawless under eye as seen on me right now, then obviously keep on watching. So the first step for me in achieving a flawless concealer is actually starting with foundation. So when I say foundation, I obviously apply my foundation, but I don't actually take the foundation onto the under eye. I just leave the under eye bare, basically. And the reason that I do that is because I find that if you add more and more layers of product, the more likely your under eye is to crease. So that's what I'm going to be showing you now. I'm going to speed it up, but basically the rule is, according to me, just don't put any foundation on the under eye. I know that some other people actually do put foundation on the under eye, but for me, I just personally don't. The reason for me is obviously that I find adding even more products just makes the under eye crease, and concealer is quite thick anyway. So that's like the reason I just don't believe in putting foundation on the under eye. I'm going in the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation today, and this is in the shade Golden Beige. So on the left side of the face, I'm going to be going in with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Concealer. So my shade is the shade 190. So this is not really a drugstore brand. This is obviously a little bit more high-end and a bit more expensive. So I'm going to be going in with an expensive concealer on the left side of the face and a more cheaper concealer, but just as good in my opinion. So this is the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer, and this is in the shade Beige number 8. So both of these concealers are really good, but I just chose to use two different concealers to show that the technique is still the same, whether the product is expensive or cheap. So that's the reason I'm doing that today. So the technique that I use for concealer is to apply a little bit to the inner corner, a little bit to the outer corner, just like so. So the reason why I use this technique is because I used to use the technique where I do kind of like an upside down triangle and take the concealer right down, but I only really like to really brighten the under eye now. And by doing a little bit on the inner corner and a little bit on the outer corner, I find that you don't actually over apply concealer, and you don't have the problem of you've put too much on and then you have to blend it away, and that's when it can crease and look really thick. So I'm going to be blending this concealer in with a beauty blender, And by applying it to the outer corner in an upright shape, that's obviously going to give your eye a lift as well. This beauty blender is damp, by the way, so I'm just going to be tapping this into the skin very gently. I'm not pressing really hard or anything, I'm just literally pressing this into the skin. So that's the under eye done now. Obviously I only use the beauty blender and I've made sure that the product is fully pressed into the under eye, and I'm using the tip of the beauty blender to really get into the inner corners and right up to the lash line. So the next step is to go in with a loose setting powder. I'm going to be going in with the Huda Beauty Baby Bake. So I'm not going to be using the little applicator that it comes with. I'm just going to be tipping a little bit out and taking the beauty blender, and I'm going to be taking that same beauty blender, dipping in and then just really pressing this powder into the under eye. And one crucial step that helps concealer not to crease is if you see any creases on the under eye, don't go in with the powder. Make sure that you actually get out the creases. So right now I can see one crease. Don't know if anyone can see that just under there. So I'm going to just remove that by just simply pressing in, looking up and pressing the concealer in and making sure it's not in a crease. And then I'm going to be going in with the powder. So I'm really working the powder into the sponge. So I'm going to be picking a little bit more of this powder up. So as you've seen, at first I really pressed it into the under eye and then I went in and applied more powder. So different concealer this time. Obviously this is the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer. And it's just the exact same technique basically. So I'm going in with the same beauty blender. The powder was on this side, so I'm going to go in on the fresh side where I haven't actually applied powder. And as you can see, because I used the technique where I actually applied concealer to the outer corner and tried to do it in an upwards position to lift the eye, that's where I'm actually taking the powder to as well, as that's crucial in making sure that the powder, the concealer stays in the shape that you've put it. So the reason, in case anyone is an absolute beginner to makeup and doesn't actually know this yet, but the reason that I'm actually using a loose setting powder to actually set the under eye is because concealer obviously creases throughout the day. The under eye is a part of your face where obviously most people talk with their eyes, and obviously when you're blinking, when you're frowning, anything, you use your eyes, even when you smile, everything. So basically that's why concealer is just so likely to crease. So, and obviously everyone has laughter lines, little wrinkles, fine lines. So the reason that I am actually using a loose setting powder is just to actually mattify the concealer. So it won't be tacky to the touch, it'll be dried down, mattified, and you're setting it in place like I explained before. You're keeping the concealer in the place where you want the concealer to be. So for me that's in an uplifted wing shape. And also, by using a loose setting powder, this will actually make the concealer literally last all day. So cream and liquid products, in my opinion, are more likely to last if you actually set them with a powder. So the same goes for cream bronzer, cream contour, cream blush. In my opinion, it's always more likely to last even longer if you actually set it with a powder. And obviously it's a setting powder, so it's meant to set whatever you apply the powder on top of literally all day basically. So that's the reason why we're doing that. They're my basically top tips for actually how to stop concealer creasing. And it's quite simple really, to be honest. It's quite a simple method really, but it works every time, and there's only a few tips to remember. So don't apply foundation to the under eye, leave that blank, because the more products you add, the more likely you are to get creasing, and obviously concealer is very thick anyway. The other tip is to do the technique where you just apply a little bit on the inner corner, a little bit on the outer corner. Blend in with a beauty blender. I don't know if I mentioned this, but beauty blenders soak up excess product. So if you have actually put on too much concealer, this will do a really good job of taking away excess product and actually soaking it up. So I'd always recommend blending in with a beauty blender. So you see me press the concealer into the skin and make sure it was all blended, and then obviously go over it with a setting powder and point of a beauty sponge to really press it into the inner corners of the eye and really get it to the lash line. So this has been on the skin for about 2 minutes, and I'm just going to dust it off now with a clean fluffy brush. And I don't know about you, but can you see any difference between the Fenty Beauty side and the collection side? Let me know what you think in the comment section. So I am just going to be doing the rest of the makeup now off camera, and then I'm going to check back in and show you what the rest of the makeup looks like. So guys, this is the finished and completed look now that all the other skin products are on the skin. And as you can see, the under eye looks brightened, it looks lifted, and I'm just going to try and zoom in a little bit. Well, when I say zoom in, I mean I'm going to try and stick closer to the camera. So I hope that that's showing up on camera how flawless it is, and there's not really much creasing. And I am about to go out now, and I feel very confident going out because I know that the concealer is going to last all day because I've used the techniques that I demonstrated in the tutorial. So yeah, I'm going to wrap the tutorial up now because that is literally all I have to say on my top tips and tricks on how to achieve a flawless under eye and to stop your concealer from creasing. So yeah, I hope that you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please let me know by liking the video. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on whether this was helpful and what I should do for my next Makeup Masterclass Monday. And please subscribe if you're not already, and think about turning on the notification bell so you won't miss any of my weekly uploads. But apart from that, genuinely thank you so much for sticking around to the very end. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next tutorial.